All right, guys. So we've been talking about the truckers recently, and I do think that the convoy made a huge mistake, and that was blocking the Ambassador Bridge. Because if you look at the news, a lot of the narrative that's being spun out there is that they're causing supply shortages and things like that, and that is in part true. It's in part true. And one of the things that we do around here is we try to make sure that we leave enough room for nuance. Like we want the truth, but we understand that we can't just paint everything with a broad stroke and leave it at that. There's nuances and there are all sorts of different things that you have to consider. And so Toyota issued a statement, I think, a while ago that they were experiencing a shortage of parts in part due to the truckers. And this is where I think the truckers made a huge mistake because one of the things that I think about and work on this channel is establishing positive communication. And I think we should not have gone blocked the Ambassador Bridge because then that gave the media something to push against them as well. Because when you take food out of someone's mouth or disrupt their jobs, it's very, very difficult to empathize with your cause because more likely than not, they're just going to consider you as the enemy, especially if they can establish a very clear correlation between you and your protest and them losing a day of work or losing pay or having to take a vacation day because their factory had to shut down for a few days because they couldn't get the parts that they need. And I was hearing from my parents, like if you go to Walmart, all the pasta is gone. Now, of course, it's always important that you want to ask because correlation does not equal causation. That's a logical fallacy. So just because there's a correlation, it's like, oh, the convoy happened and now there's no pasta at Walmart, doesn't mean that's a direct causal relationship. But a lot of times people just see the correlation and they allow that to create fear and they build their thinking and their belief system off of that and they build their feelings off of that. And I think that was a big mistake. You go ahead and protest because I said I'm free speech and the right to protest is a natural derivative of your right to free speech. And so everybody has the right to protest. I'm fine with that. But I think it was a really bad idea to block the Ambassador Bridge because now anybody who doesn't want to support your cause or anybody doesn't like you, okay, now they have actual ammo. Now they're like, hey, you disrupted our economy. Inflation was already bad enough. And now, it's going to be even worse. It's harder to get food, this and there. And most likely, those people are going to be using other sources of actual misinformation to boost up their preconceived notions of how they already feel and want to feel. And this doesn't help the fact that people do that. And so I think that was the biggest mistake that the convoy made because again, it just comes back to the same principle. Like if you mess with somebody's job, you mess with somebody's money and their ability to put food on their table, even from their own perspective, it might not be 100% true. But if you give them a reason to suspect or believe that that's what you're doing, you're most likely going to make yourself an enemy in their eyes. And that's not what we want. We want unity. We want people to come together and support freedom and all of that good stuff, right? And so I just lost my train of thought there for a second. So I think that was the biggest mistake that the truckers made. Um, Other than that, I'm not necessarily for or against it. I try to keep myself pretty apolitical. Neither conservative nor liberal. I just want to look at the truth and find it, and then do my best to apply it in such a way that it creates good results for myself and everybody else around me. If that sounds incredibly refreshing to you, then why not drop a like and subscribe? We're just getting started on our journey. I'd love for you to come along with us, and of course, you don't have to be of any political affiliation to hang out with us because I'm neither conservative nor liberal. I'm just John, and I do my best to find the truth. And so, if you want to come hang out, and we'll have some fun together. Peace.